Let me tell you something real. The moment you start shining, someone somewhere will squint. Not because your light is too bright, but because they're not ready to deal with their own darkness. And you're not responsible for dimming your glow to comfort someone who's living in insecurity. This world, especially if you're a woman thriving, is full of jealousy. But here's the secret. You don't fight jealousy with explanations. You fight it with elevation. People don't hate you. They hate themselves when they see you winning. So what do when they whisper, when they copy, when they sabotage or smile fake in your presence? You level up. You grow louder in silence. And you never, ever shrink just to fit someone's comfort zone. Let's talk about it. How to handle jealous people. With class, with power, and without ever stepping off your throne. Jealousy often walks into our lives wearing a friendly face. It doesn't always show up in obvious ways. Sometimes it hides behind compliments that sting, behind silent treatments that come out of nowhere, or behind people who suddenly distance themselves when you're doing well. And in those moments, most people get confused. They ask, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth you need to tattoo on your mind. You did nothing wrong by rising. You're not responsible for how others digest your success. Let's be clear. Jealousy isn't about you. It's about how other people feel about themselves when they see you. Imagine this. You've been working hard on your fitness journey, and finally your body starts changing. You feel strong, confident, empowered, and suddenly your closest friend says, you're becoming too obsessed with how you look. Pause. That's not concern. That's discomfort, their discomfort. You know why? Because your glow is forcing them to confront where they've been lazy or neglectful in their own life. And instead of being inspired, they choose to envy. That's when you recognize it. And more importantly, you don't absorb it. You're not here to water yourself down so others feel taller. You're not meant to shrink your goals just to make small-minded people feel safe. When someone can't clap for you, when they make backhanded comments, when they're quick to notice your mistakes but quiet during your wins, understand this. They're bleeding internally with comparison. But your job is to keep shining without apology. Think of a sunflower. It doesn't bend toward shade just because the weeds below it can't handle the light. No, it keeps rising. It keeps turning toward the sun. That's you. When someone is envious, it's not your cue to explain. It's your cue to elevate. The moment you start explaining your worth, you've already lowered it. In daily life, it's subtle. Your coworker sees you praise in a meeting and suddenly becomes colder. Your cousin mocks your ambitions, saying, don't dream too big. Not everyone can make it. Your partner feels threatened when you start earning more or glowing differently. But listen to me. Their jealousy is not your storm. Don't carry their clouds into your sunshine. Recognize the storm, carry an umbrella, but don't walk in the rain just to prove a point. You have to understand that the way people treat you often has less to do with you and more to do with how they see themselves when they are around you. Sometimes your confidence triggers their insecurity. Your happiness reminds them of what they're missing. Your freedom shows them where they're trapped. But you weren't born to dull your light to make others comfortable in the dark. Let them squint, let them shade, let them whisper. You keep walking like you own every damn step. When you absorb jealousy, you start doubting yourself. you begin questioning, maybe I shouldn't have posted that achievement. Maybe I should stay quiet about this win. Maybe I should downplay my goals. No, stop right there. If you mute your success to soothe someone's envy, you become their prisoner. And darling, you weren't born to serve other people's insecurities. So next time it happens, the fake praise, the weird silence, the unnecessary critique, don't get emotional. And don't be afraid to failure. The fake praise, the weird silence, the unnecessary critique, get conscious, don't react. Recognize, take it as a sign that you're leveling up, that your light is blinding enough to get noticed, that you're moving in a direction that's shaking people who thought you'd stay small. Smile at it, let it fuel you, and keep walking like your name belongs on a billboard, because maybe it does. Comparison is the thief of joy. We've all heard it. But what no one tells you is that competition is often a silent killer of peace. The moment you start racing someone who isn't even headed in your direction, you lose your own path. You lose your voice trying to echo someone else's. Imagine you're scrolling through social media and you see someone just bought a car, launched a brand, got engaged, posted a picture, perfect life. And without even realizing it, your heart skips, not with excitement, but with pressure. You start asking, what am I doing wrong? But here's the truth. You're not behind. You're just not in their race. The only lane you need to care about is your own. You were never born to compete with anyone, only to continue your own growth. Think about runners on a track. The second they turn their heads to look at the person in the next lane, they lose speed. Why? Because focus breaks. Energy splits. That's what happens when you obsess over what others are doing. You dilute your power. You start shifting your timeline, your rhythm, your journey, just to catch up to someone who may not even be going where you're destined to go. Let me give you an example from real life. You've been working steadily in silence on your passion project, a blog, a business, your art. Then you see someone else suddenly blow up, getting likes, views, opportunities, and you panic. You think, maybe I should do what they're doing. Maybe their style is better. No. What's meant for you doesn't require imitation. It requires consistency. Don't compete with noise. Continue with authenticity. I remember a girl who loved baking. Her Instagram page had slow growth. Then one day someone told her, you need to start doing trends, dancing, drama, clickbait. She tried it, her videos blew up. But she burned out. Why? Because she was competing in a space that didn't feel like home. She got applause but lost her passion. And you see, when you chase numbers instead of purpose, you might win the game but lose your soul. This applies in every part of life. In relationships, for instance, you see someone with a flashy partner, vacations, gifts. You begin to think, why doesn't my love life look like that? But girl, stop right there. Don't compete with a highlight reel. Continue building your own private masterpiece. The strongest connections aren't always seen. The deepest roots grow underground. Not everything valuable comes with applause. Even at work, your colleague gets promoted, gets noticed, gets the praise. You wonder, am I invisible? But trust me, your consistency is doing more than you know. People forget, bamboo takes years to grow underground before it shoots up overnight. Don't let someone else's quick win make you question your slow burn. Compete and you lose focus. Continue and you become unstoppable. You don't need to be louder. You need to be real. You don't need to be faster. You need to be steady. You don't need to compete. You just need to continue becoming the version of you that no one else can duplicate. Because when you continue without stopping to compare or prove, you become magnetic. You start walking in rooms, not trying to be seen, but being felt. You radiate peace, the kind that's not shaken by someone else's success. You understand that life is not a race, it's a rhythm. And you, my dear, are a force when you're in sync with your own beat. So don't ask, how can I be better than them? Ask, how can I be truer to myself today? Because the truth is, real queens don't compete with other queens. They fix each other's crowns and keep walking like they own the damn kingdom. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and not everyone who claps is happy for you. Some are only clapping loud enough to distract you from the knife they're sharpening behind your back. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is power. And in this world full of noise, drama, and hidden agendas, protecting your energy is not just self-care. It's survival. Every day you wake up, you have a limited supply of energy. You choose where to spend it on your dreams, your healing, your goals, your growth, or on meaningless conversations, toxic relationships, and drama that doesn't pay your rent. It's time you become the bodyguard of your soul. Let people call you rude, let them say you've changed. But when peace becomes your priority, opinions lose their power. Let me tell you something real. You can be the most positive person in the room, but if you're surrounded by people who feed off gossip, jealousy, and chaos, you will burn out. You will start to question your own light, not because you're dim, but because you've been standing in the wrong room. Energy is contagious. Protect yours like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Picture this. You're on a journey to build something meaningful. A business, a new life, a better version of yourself. And then there's that one friend who always doubts, always drains, always downplays. Every time you share good news, they find a way to poke holes in your joy. That's not a friend. That's a leak in your spirit. You can't fill your cup if someone keeps tipping it over. Protect your energy circle by loving from a distance. You don't need to explain. Distance is the answer jealousy can't argue with. And it's not just about people. It's also about the content you consume, the places you visit, the thoughts you allow. Ever scrolled on your phone for hours and suddenly felt empty? That's not laziness. That's energy theft. You just gave away your attention to 100 opinions, fake standards, and polished lies. Start curating your life like it's a masterpiece. Not everything deserves your gaze, your ears, or your spirit. In your workplace too, energy vampires exist. That colleague who always complains, who always sees the negative, who never celebrates your wins. Cut the cord emotionally. You can be professional without being available for their projections. Sometimes maturity is realizing you don't need to respond to every provocation. Silence is your shield. Your smile, that's your sword. Family, yes, even them. If someone, blood or not, constantly disrespects your boundaries, your path, or your peace, you owe them less access, not more excuses. We've been trained to believe loyalty means suffering. It doesn't. Loyalty to others should never cost you your loyalty to your own peace. Some bonds are meant to be loosened, not nurtured. Not everyone grows with you, and that's okay. Protect your energy even if it makes you the villain in someone else's story. Your soul is not up for debate. Every queen has a court, and that court determines how high she rises or how fast she falls. Look around. Who's in your court? Do they challenge you with love or compete in disguise? Do they speak life into your dreams or secretly hope you fail? If the vibe feels heavy, it's not your job to carry it. It's your cue to walk away. Your peace is your responsibility. And when you stop giving away free access to people who drain you, you become unstoppable. You glow differently when you stop begging people to understand your worth and start building walls where there used to be open doors. The moment you guard your energy like royalty, life stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like a throne. Use their hate as confirmation. If they're hating, you're doing something right. That's not just a cliche, that's truth carved in fire. People don't waste their energy on someone who isn't shining. If your name is coming out of their mouth, that means your presence is making noise in their world. That means you're seen. That means you're uncomfortable to their comfort zone. And trust me, when you begin rising, the silence turns into whispers. And the whispers turn into noise. Use that noise as confirmation that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You could be the kindest soul, the hardest worker, the most humble heart, and still there will be people who dislike you. Not because of your flaws, but because your light exposes their shadows. That's the game. That's the truth. So the next time someone throws shade, don't flinch. Collect it. Build your empire in the shadows they provide. Turn that doubt into drive. Let me give you a real life example. There was a woman who started her own skincare line. Small, handmade, authentic. People laughed, said it was cute, told her it wouldn't go far. Family said, get a real job. Friends said, you're wasting your time. But she kept going. And one day, she saw one of her loudest critics copying her formula and selling a knockoff version. That's when she knew, oh, I'm a threat now. That wasn't competition. That was confirmation. The hate didn't stop her. It spotlighted her.